When the defense has been broken down, the goalkeeper is the last man standing, the final hope, and nobody protected their club more than Gianluigi Buffon. With over 500 clean sheets, Buffon truly revolutionized his position. For nearly 30 years, his bravery, athleticism, and shot stopping has truly amazed fans from all over the world, while simultaneously striking fear into the world's greatest goal scorers. So how did Gianluigi Buffon become one of the best goalkeepers to ever live? Gianluigi Buffon was born on January 28, 1978 in Carrara, Tuscany, Italy, to a sports-obsessed family. As a child, Gigi originally played as a midfielder and was even talented enough to receive offers from several academies across Italy, including Bologna and Milan, but ultimately he would choose to join Parma. Buffon was always fascinated by goalkeeping, especially when he watched his idol Thomas Nkono in the 1990 World Cup as he represented Senegal. The interest in goalkeeping would grow, and on one fateful day, both of Parma's goalkeepers were injured, and Buffon would be called up due to his height, athleticism, and interest in the position. But everybody would be shocked when he would be an absolute natural, and just 2 weeks later he would become the starter for Parma's youth team. In 1995, at just 17 years old, Buffon would make his senior debut for Parma, keeping a clean sheet against Milan. A young Buffon would make phenomenal saves against the likes of George Weah, Roberto Baggio, and Marco Simeone, amongst many others. Although he was still very raw, everyone saw the overwhelming potential the teenager had. Buffon would make 8 more appearances in his debut season and was improving massively under goalkeeping coach and mentor Vilian Vecchi. At this time, Buffon was also representing Italy at all youth levels. After impressing massively in his debut season, Buffon was handed the starting position and would be the starting goalkeeper for Parma in 1996-97. Parma had built a special team, and under new manager Carlo Ancelotti, they would fight for second place in Serie A, only falling 2 points behind Juventus, qualifying them for the Champions League. Buffon would make his European debut at just 18 years old in a loss to Portuguese side Vitória de Guimarães in the UEFA Super Cup. In 1997-98, Buffon would continue to shine, winning several encounters with some of the world's best footballers and maintaining several clean sheets for Parma. That season, he even earned his nickname as he blocked a phenomenal penalty from Brazilian legend Ronaldo Nazario. And when Buffon celebrated, he showed the fans the shirt he was wearing underneath his jersey, earning him the nickname Superman. In his 4th season, Buffon would win his first European trophy when he kept a clean sheet in the 1998 UEFA Cup final against Marseille, beating the French side 3-0. Parma would also win the Coppa Italia, defeating Fiorentina on away goals. Buffon did so well this year that he would win his first ever Serie A Goalkeeper of the Year award, his first of many, as well as the Bravo award. The next 3 seasons, Buffon would help Parma to consecutive 4th place finishes, earning them Champions League football. In his final season with Parma, Buffon would win another Serie A Goalkeeper of the Year award. Parma would receive offers from all over the world for Gianluigi Buffon. But on July 3rd, 2001, Buffon would be sold to Juventus, as Parma could not refuse the €52 million transfer fee, a world record transfer fee for goalkeepers that wouldn't be broken for another 17 years. Gianluigi Buffon was brought to Juventus to replace Edwin van der Sar, and Buffon did not disappoint. There was much criticism concerning his price tag, but Buffon would make his debut on August 26, 2001, keeping a clean sheet against Venezia. Buffon would appear in 45 matches his debut season and proved pivotal for Juventus, only conceding 22 goals in 34 Serie A matches. Unfortunately, Juventus would be knocked out in the second group stages of the Champions League, but Buffon would win his first Scudetto, playing a major role on the squad, proving all the haters who had doubted him completely wrong, and would get the honor to represent his nation at the 2002 World Cup, helping them make it out of the group stages. However, the Italians would underperform, losing to South Korea in the round of 16. Buffon's second year at Juventus was a masterclass, as he would win the Supercoppa Italia against Parma. In the league, Buffon would only concede 23 goals in 32 appearances, helping Juve defend their domestic title. In Europe, Buffon defended his club, guiding them to a Champions League final, where he made several incredible saves along the way. Juventus would face their rivals AC Milan in Manchester for an all-Italian Champions League final, where although they did not concede and he saved 2 penalties, it would still not be enough for Juventus to beat AC Milan. Regardless, Gianluigi Buffon would win the UEFA Player and Goalkeeper of the Year for his phenomenal performances. Buffon was clearly a force to be reckoned with. The next season began promising, as Juventus would win another Supercoppa Italiana, this time against Milan, but sadly in the league they would underperform, only getting 3rd place and making an early Champions League exit. During this time, Buffon would face one of his greatest opponents, himself, as he overcame his depression. In the summer of 2004, Marcello Lippi would leave Juventus to coach the Italian national team, being replaced by Fabio Capello. Buffon would represent Italy at the 2004 Euros, however they would be knocked out after not winning a single match. Fabio Capello would leave Juventus to consecutive Serie A titles in 2004-05 and 2005-06. Sadly, that would be their only silverware, as they would be knocked out in the Champions League both seasons in the quarterfinals. On May 12, 2006, the Calciopoli scandal rattled Serie A, but especially Juventus, as a match-fixing and betting scandal was being exposed throughout all of Italian football. Thankfully, although Buffon made several bets, he cooperated with authorities and was able to prove that he never bet on any matches he was directly involved in, and was still allowed to play in the 2006 World Cup. Sadly, Juventus would not be so lucky, as they would suffer a major point deduction, sending them straight to Serie B. At the World Cup, Buffon would clearly be the first choice of his former manager, where he undeniably put on the best performances of his entire life, keeping 5 clean sheets and only conceding 2 goals in the entire tournament, an own goal against the United States, and a penalty to Zinedine Zidane in the final. Buffon was simply excellent, making several clutch saves, including a save on an extra-time header from Zidane in the final, which he later referred to as the most important save of his entire career. The match would end 1-1 as Italy conquered France in penalties after the lone miss from David Trezeguet. Buffon would be awarded the Yashin Award for being the best goalkeeper of the tournament. Domestically, Juventus would spend their first season ever in Serie B, losing a majority of their entire squad, only leaving 6 players left: Alessandro Del Piero, David Trezeguet, Pavel Nedved, and Giorgio Chiellini. Buffon's decision to stay with the club through their relegation easily made him a fan favorite. On September 9, 2006, Buffon would make his Serie B debut, as Juventus would quickly climb their way back into Serie A after winning the title. Buffon and Juventus would go from recently relegated to Champions League qualifications, as they would finish 3rd in Serie A. That season, Buffon would make 94 saves in 34 league appearances, contributing massively to their 3rd place finish that season. Toward the end of the season, Buffon would begin to suffer from a herniated disc, which would sometimes keep him sidelined over the next few seasons. Buffon would miss from September to January in the 08-09 season. As the club would slip in form, somehow Juventus would pull it back together and manage to finish 2nd in the league. The 2009-2010 season would start off well, but would quickly fall apart, as Juventus would be knocked out in the group stages of the Champions League and lose to Fulham in the Europa League. Regardless, Gianluigi still gave 100% and made a huge impact every time he was on the pitch. Because of his herniated disc and a surgery to his sciatic nerve, Buffon would miss the first half of the following season, and would obviously not be available to be called up to represent Italy in the 2010 World Cup. Sadly, Juventus would once again finish in 7th place, trophyless, and without European football for the first time in over 20 years. But sometimes in life, trials come right before the rewards, as under new manager and former club midfielder Antonio Conte, Juventus would once again become a European powerhouse. Buffon would begin the 2011-12 season with a new confidence, as he once again would prove that he could be depended on, making remarkable saves and asserting himself in a new way we had never seen before. Pundits and fans equally recognized how amazing he was, as Juventus would go unbeaten, and Buffon was able to win the Scudetto for the first time since Calciopoli. The defensive line of Giorgio Chiellini, Leonardo Bonucci, Andrea Barzagli, and Gianluigi Buffon would obtain a league record 21 clean sheets, only conceding 16 goals in 35 appearances. That's less than 1 goal every 2 matches. After the departure of club legend Alessandro Del Piero, Buffon would be named team captain, and he would obtain his first trophy as such after winning the Supercoppa Italiana to rivals Napoli. The league season started off well, and in Europe, Juventus would return to the Champions League in 2012-13, overcoming Chelsea and Shakhtar Donetsk, before losing in the quarterfinals to German side Bayern Munich. Thankfully, Buffon only conceded 19 goals that season, and Juventus were able to once again defend their title. The 2013-14 season would begin incredibly, as Juventus would defend their Supercoppa to Lazio 4-0. Buffon would also maintain an elite level in the league, as although he was 35 years old, he played one of his best seasons ever, going 765 minutes without conceding a goal in Serie A. Buffon would guide the Bianconeri, leading them to victory after victory, and alongside Buffon, Juventus would completely dominate Serie A, setting an Italian points record of 102 points, with Buffon keeping 18 clean sheets and making 89 saves in only 33 appearances. During the summer of 2014, Antonio Conte would leave to manage the Italian national team and be replaced by Massimiliano Allegri. The 2014-15 season, Juventus would dominate the league once again, finishing 17 points ahead of Roma, but they left a little bit of gas in the tank for the Champions League, as Buffon would turn back the hands of time, making several incredible saves, and defended Juventus greatly as they made it to the Champions League semi-final. As they would overcome Real Madrid on May 13, 2015, Buffon would produce one of the best performances of his life as he defended Juventus, only allowing a single penalty to the legendary Cristiano Ronaldo, which was enough to get them to the finals for the first time in over 12 years. Sadly, everything would crumble, as Buffon and Juventus would fall to Barcelona 3-1 in Berlin. Juventus would win another Supercoppa Italiana to begin the 2015-16 season. On October 21st, 2015, Buffon would overtake Alessandro Del Piero and become the player with the most minutes ever played for Juventus. This season, Buffon would break an insane record, going 974 minutes without conceding a single goal. Absolutely incredible. Although Buffon was clearly still playing at the highest level, his leadership and experience also played a massive role, as Juventus would finish top of Serie A for the 5th consecutive year in a row. The following 2 seasons, Juventus would impress when they would win the Scudetto for the 6th and 7th consecutive season, having dominant performances in the league, as well as making the Champions League final in 2016-17, where after a long journey they would lose to Real Madrid in the final. In 2017, Buffon would win his 12th Serie A Goalkeeper of the Year award. Buffon would also become the first player to win 10 Serie A titles. Buffon would sign a 1-year deal with PSG to be used as a rotational player, making several memorable saves for the Parisian side in Ligue 1, even winning himself a Ligue 1 title before returning back to Juventus. Buffon would continue to play his heart out well into his 40s and displayed how much of a goalkeeping genius he really was, playing with a much younger side alongside Cristiano Ronaldo, as although he mainly came off the bench, he would win his last Scudetto with Juventus in 2019-20. Buffon would be given the honor of lifting up his final Coppa Italia. After 17 years, Gianluigi Buffon would play his final match for the Bianconeri, leaving the club as an absolute legend, having won 10 Serie A titles with them, worn the Juventus shirt more than any other player, and there he became one of the most legendary goalkeepers ever. After much speculation and many assuming he would retire, on June 17, 2021, Gianluigi Buffon would return to his boyhood club and recently relegated Parma, as he would make one final attempt to take his first club back up to Serie A, spending a majority of the time on the bench, but providing the squad with the boost they needed whenever he was on the pitch. On August 2nd, 2023, at the age of 45, after playing 28 long years of beautiful, epic, and fantastic football, Gianluigi Buffon, possibly the best goalkeeper to ever live, retired from the sport of football. Gianluigi Buffon truly had an amazing career with so many beautiful moments. Let me know if I missed anything down below and what your favorite moment is. Also, the comment with the most likes will get their player reviewed for the next video. If you're still around, go ahead and like and subscribe and check out these 2 other videos. And until next time, later.